In the middle of Agege, where the noise of buses mixed with the smell of roasted corn, there was a restaurant that was always full. It didn't matter whether it was rainy season or dry season. People came from far and near just to eat there. The name of the restaurant was Onje Delight, and the woman behind it was called Tolani. Tolani was 30 years old. Her face was full, her arms round like a full bag of gari, and her legs heavy like a generator. But nobody cared about her size. What they cared about was her food. Her amala was soft, her ewedu slippery and fresh, her gbegiri had that yellow color that made men close their eyes after one spoon. The goat meat in her ogbono soup, tender like a baby's cheek. But what they didn't know was this: Tolani never cooked her food in that clean restaurant. No one ever saw her cook. She always brought the pots in the morning, steaming hot, covered in shiny foil. Customers would smile and flick their fingers. People would say, "There is something about her cooking. It touches the soul." But if only they knew where the food came from. Years ago, Tolani was not famous. In fact, nobody even wanted to taste her food. Back then, she was just a struggling woman with a baby on her back, trying to sell rice by the roadside in an old rusty pot. Her food often got burnt. Her rice was too soft. Her stew was watery. She cried many nights, wondering why life was so hard. Her husband had abandoned her and the child. She had no mother, no helper. She begged in the market some days just to buy a derika of rice. But then one day, something changed. She met a woman, a strange-looking woman, inside Ojuwoye market in Mushin. The woman sold herbs and roots. People said she wasn't just a seller, she was also a spiritualist. Her eyes were small and sharp. Her voice was deep like a man's voice, and her stall smelled like blood and pepper mixed together. Her name was Mama Onirano. Tolani approached her, looking for help. She was tired of being poor, tired of watching others succeed while her child cried for food. "I want to make it," Tolani said, sweating. "I want to open a big restaurant, and I want people to always buy from me. I don't care what it takes." Mama Onirano looked up and down. "You don't care?" she asked. "Even if it means cooking with something alive?" Tolani hesitated. "What do you mean?" "You will put a live lizard inside your pot when you cook. Put it whole. Don't cut it. Don't kill it. Just throw it in alive. Let it boil. After some minutes, remove it. The lizard must stay in long enough for its spirit to enter the food, but nobody must ever see it." Tolani's mouth wide opened in shock. "A lizard?" "Yes," Mama Onirano whispered. "That is the price. If you obey, your food will become a spirit food. People will eat and forget everything else. Your business will never dry." Tolani thought for a long time. She looked at her torn slippers. She remembered her hungry child, and she nodded. "I'll do it." Tolani didn't cook in that restaurant. Nobody knew that. Her restaurant, Onje Delight, was very clean. It had tiled floors, bright yellow walls, plastic flowers on the table, an air freshener hanging by the doorway. Customer walked in and smiled. They believed the food was cooked in the kitchen at the back. But that kitchen was always locked. What they didn't know was that 3 streets away, behind a broken fence and beside a smelly drainage, there was a small shack made of zinc and sticks. That was where the food came from. The shack had no door, just a hanging curtain of black nylon. Inside, there were 3 giant pots, a small table, and 2 firewood stoves. Flies lived there freely. Cockroaches crawled on the floor. The roof leaked when it rained, and it was in that place that Tolani did her real cooking. Every morning before 5 a.m., she would wake up, cover herself with a scarf, wear an old wrapper, and carry her black nylon bag. Inside the bag was a live lizard caught the night before. She would enter the shack quietly, close the curtain, light the firewood, put the stew on the heat, stir gently. Then she would take out the lizard, still kicking, still alive, and drop it into the boiling pot. The creature would scream. It would fight the heat, try to escape. But after a few minutes, it would grow weak. Tolani would close her eyes, whisper the chant Mama Onirano taught her, and stir the pot 3 times clockwise. Then she would pick the lizard out with her long spoon and throw it into a black bucket. Only then she add her crayfish, pepper, and Maggi. And that was the true secret behind the taste. Tolani's restaurant didn't run by itself. She had 2 helpers, women who worked with her every day. The first was Mama Nkechi, a strong Igbo woman in her late 40s, known in the area for her loud voice and fast hands. She had once sold okpa and zobo by the roadside, but joined Tolani 2 years ago when she saw the business booming. Mama Nkechi didn't ask questions. She believed in one thing: money must flow. As long as the pay was steady, she didn't care where the food came from. The second helper was Joy, a quiet 18-year-old girl from Ilesha. She was soft-spoken, always neat, and careful with customers. Her parents had sent her to Lagos to learn life after secondary school. She stayed with her aunt, but worked at Onje Delight during the day. Joy was different from Mama Nkechi. She was curious. She liked to understand things, why something was done in a certain way, where things came from, how to improve. She also noticed things others ignored, like how Tolani always brought the food early in the morning before anyone arrived, how she never allowed anyone into the supposed restaurant kitchen, how she always locked the back door and kept the keys in her bra. Joy once asked, "Auntie Tolani, can I help you cook one day?" Tolani laughed sharply. "Ah, you want to enter the lion's den? No, you small girls don't know how to cook this kind of special food." Joy smiled, but kept the question in her heart. Something didn't feel right. Onje Delight didn't need adverts. The food advertised itself. One customer would taste the fried rice, and before nightfall, 5 of his friends would come. The woman selling akara across the street brought her husband one afternoon. He licked the soup and said, "Are you sure this woman is not using juju?" She laughed, but her eyes were not smiling. Some customers would come twice in one day. Others would beg for takeaway after eating a full plate. A group of policemen came every Thursday like clockwork. An old man once said, "I dreamt of this stew last night. It was strange, but nobody stopped. Even people who fell sick still came back. They would say, 'Ah, maybe it's malaria, or maybe it was the bread I ate, not the rice.'" One young lady, Titi, fainted at work after eating Tolani's peppered goat meat. But after she recovered, guess what she asked for? "Please, someone should buy me rice from Onje Delight." The charm was working. The lizard spirit was doing its job. Mama Nkechi noticed too. She once joked, "This food gets power, people know they chop and go. Then they chop and return." Tolani laughed but never explained. Joy laughed too, but her heart was restless. She had seen something once, a small black stain on the cooler lid that looked like dried claw marks. And once, she thought she saw a tiny scale floating in the stew, but Tolani quickly stared it away. Joy started to pay closer attention. Something was wrong, very wrong. Joy was not like other girls. She didn't talk much, she didn't gossip, but she observed everything. And lately, things at Onje Delight were starting to trouble her heart. One Saturday morning, she arrived early, too early, around 5:30 a.m. She had woken up before her alarm and decided to surprise Auntie Tolani by helping her set up the chairs. But as she turned the corner to the restaurant, she stopped. She saw Tolani, but not at the shop. Tolani was walking quickly, almost running down a narrow back street. She was carrying a black rubber bag in one hand and covering her head with her scarf. Joy quietly followed from a distance. The street led past houses, past a broken fence, and into a corner she had never noticed before. There was a small gate, half broken, and behind it was a tiny shack made of zinc and old plywood. Smoke was rising from inside. Joy stayed hidden behind the wall. She peeked, and what she saw made her mouth open in shock. Inside the shack, Auntie Tolani was standing in front of a giant pot. She opened the bag and pulled out a live lizard. Joy gasped silently. The lizard kicked and twisted, trying to escape, but Tolani held it tight. Then, without even flinching, she opened the pot of boiling stew and dropped it inside alive. The creature hissed, it danced, it tried to climb out, but the heat was too strong. Tolani picked a long cooking spoon and stirred the stew gently, her eyes closed, her lips moving like someone praying. Then after a few minutes, she used a slotted spoon to pull out the dead lizard and drop it into a black bucket by her foot. She returned to staring like nothing has happened. Joy ran back to the restaurant, her heart pounding like a drum. She sat confused and afraid. What did I just say? Was it a dream? Was Auntie T using juju to cook? Her hands were shaking, and for the first time since she started working there, she couldn't eat the food. It didn't take long for sickness to start. One woman came on a Monday and ordered a egusi with semo. She was loud and cheerful. She even complimented Mama Nkechi and said, "You people are doing well. This food is too sweet." By evening, she was vomiting and stooling uncontrollably. Her husband rushed her to the hospital. The doctor said it was food poisoning. The next week, a young man named Bayo came with his friends. They all ordered rice and peppered turkey. They laughed, took selfies, and praised the meat. 2 of them went home sick. One was hospitalized. One, Bayo, never woke up. People were shocked. Still, some said it must be malaria. Others said maybe they missed food. Nobody blamed the restaurant. The charm was strong. It covered suspicion. It covered sense. But Joy knew. She saw the pain in customers' faces. She heard the complaints. She even noticed Mama Nkechi whispering one day, "All these people falling sick, it dey somehow." Joy's heart began to burn with fear. If she stayed silent, more people might die. If she spoke, will anyone believe her? Joy couldn't sleep that night. She tossed on a small mattress, staring at the ceiling. Her aunt had already dozed off, but Joy's mind was full of questions. What if someone dies again? What if they blame me for keeping quiet? What if Auntie Tolani finds out that I saw her? She sat up and prayed softly. "God, help me. I don't want to die. But I can't watch innocent people suffer. By next morning, she had a plan. She couldn't tell Mama Nkechi. The woman liked money too much and might not believe her. She also couldn't go straight to the police. She had no proof. But there was one person she could trust. Muri. Muri was a 19-year-old boy who worked as a part-time delivery assistant for Onje Delight. He carried coolers to the office buildings, helped offload food trays, and sometimes helped carry groceries from the market. He liked Joy. He had once said to her, "You dey different from other girls. You quiet, but your eyes dey talk." She found him after work. They sat by a small kiosk and Joy told him everything. At first, Muri's mouth opened wide. "Live lizard ke?" Joy nodded. "I saw it with my own eyes." Muri scratched his head. "But people dey rush the food now, and some are falling sick," Joy said. "One man died." They were silent for a while. Then Muri whispered, "We go catch her." Joy's eyes widened. "How?" He smiled. "We go use camera. My brother get one small phone wey still dey record video well. We go put am near the shack." Joy held her breath. "Are you sure?" Muri nodded. "We go catch her red-handed." Early next morning, before sunrise, Joy and Muri met near the broken fence. Muri had brought a small Android phone with a cracked screen. He placed it behind an old paint bucket just outside the shack, where it pointed through a small hole in the zinc. They hid well and waited. Soon, Tolani arrived. She looked around, didn't see anyone, and entered the shack. She didn't know that the phone was recording. Inside, the firewood was already set. She opened her black nylon and pulled out the fat wriggling lizards. Joy gasped quietly behind the fence. Tolani threw them into the pot, one by one as usual, alive. The creatures fought the hot steel. One tried to jump out, but she quickly used a stick to push it back in. Then she started chanting. Her eyes closed, her lips moved. She danced around the pot, staring slowly. After about 7 minutes, she used a spoon with holes to remove the lizards and dropped them into a red bucket. Then she added crayfish, pepper, oil and seasoning cubes. Muri ended the recording. Joy was shaking, her stomach turned, but her voice was firm. "Now we have proof." Muri sent the video to his older cousin, a graphics designer who knew how to post things online anonymously. He told him, "Please don't show our names, just upload it. The world needs to see what this woman is doing." That evening, the cousin uploaded the video with a bold title. "This is what a popular Lagos food seller adds to your stew. Watch before you eat." He shared the link to 5 WhatsApp groups. Then he posted it on Facebook. Within an hour, 100 people had seen it. By morning, it has gone viral. People couldn't believe what they were watching. A woman, a well-known food seller, dropping live lizards into her stew and removing them before adding other things. No be movie be this. This can't be real. So this is what we've been eating. I nearly proposed to my girlfriend at that restaurant. I dreamt of the food. It must be true. Shock turned into anger. Fear turned into panic. By 9 a.m., the front of Onje Delight was full of angry customers. Some threw pure water sachets at the wall. Others screamed, "Bring her out!" Mama Nkechi, confused and sweating, stepped outside and asked, "What is going on?" That was when someone pushed a phone in her face. She watched the video. Her face changed. She looked back at the restaurant and saw Tolani standing behind the counter, holding a spoon in one hand and a cooler lid in the other. They locked eyes. Mama Nkechi dropped her trays and ran. Joy sat quietly by the corner, praying. Everything was about to explode. By 11 a.m., a black van with the words Lagos State Ministry of Health drove into the street. 3 health officers came down, 2 men and 1 woman, all wearing reflective vests and face masks. They were followed by 2 police officers, fully armed. The crowd outside the restaurant clapped and shouted, "See them! She must go to jail! Witch! Poisoner!" Inside, Tolani stood frozen, sweat poured down her neck. Her feet refused to move. The female health officer stepped forward, flashing her ID. "Are you Madam Tolani, owner of Wonje Delight?" Tolani opened her mouth but said nothing. The officer continued, "You are being investigated for a serious food crime. We have a video evidence of dangerous substances being added to your food. You are under arrest." One officer moved to collect her phone. Another brought out a search warrant. The health team entered the building, inspecting everything: the fridge, the back door, the storeroom, the coolers. One of them called out, "Madam, where is your cooking area?" Tolani said, "It's at the back." But the officer interrupted, "Not this kitchen. We want the real place, the one in the video." That was when Muri and Joy stepped forward. "We will take you there," Joy said quietly. The team followed Joy and Muri down the narrow street, past the drainage, and into the hidden shack. When they opened the nylon curtain, the smell was unbearable. One of the officers covered his nose, the other coughed hard. Inside, they found a large cooking pot still stained with red stew, a red bucket of dead slimy lizards, bottles of black powder and strange herbs, bones in a small sack under the table, a notebook with scribbled chants in Yoruba and symbols. One officer whispered, "This is not just dirty cooking, this is spiritual." The camera crew arrived not long after. A reporter in a brown jacket stood in front of the shack and faced the camera. "Good afternoon, Lagos. Behind me is the kitchen of a once famous restaurant, Wonje Delight, that was once praised as the best tasting food in Agege, has now been exposed as a meal from hell." Tolani was handcuffed and put into the back of the van. She cried, she begged, "I didn't kill anybody. I only followed instructions. I didn't force them to eat." But nobody listened. Outside, the crowd watched as she was driven away. Some clapped, some recorded with their phones, some just stood in silence, shaking their heads. Back in the restaurant, people had started throwing away their leftover food. A group of boys sprayed disinfectant on the chairs. Some wrote in red marker on the front wall, "Closed forever." Joy sat at the corner, eyes full of tears. Muri put his hand on her shoulder. "You did the right thing." She nodded slowly. The courtroom was filled with people. News reporters lined up by the door. Cameras flashed. Lawyers whispered. Former customers, food vendors, even pastors, they all came to watch. Tolani stood in the accused box. Her once bold face now looked small and pale. Her cloth was clean but dull. She looked nothing like the famous woman who once served lunch to half of Agege. The judge entered and silence fell. The case began. The prosecutor stood up and said, "My lord, this is not just a case of poor hygiene. This is a case of intentional poisoning, of using dark spiritual methods to control customers and endanger lives." The defense lawyer tried to protect her. She didn't know the lizards were dangerous. She was only trying to grow her business. She removed them before serving. But the evidence was too strong. The video, the bucket of lizards, the notebook with chants, the list of victims who fell sick, the families of those who died. One woman cried as she spoke. "My husband died after eating her food. I want justice." A doctor testified. The stew contained unknown toxins. The damage to internal organs was consistent with slow poisoning. Even Mama Nkechi came to speak. She stood in court and said, "I didn't know what she was doing. If I had known, I would have left long ago. I am ashamed." Joy was called too. She told them everything, quietly, truthfully, with tears in her eyes. "I only wanted people to be safe," she said. "That food wasn't just food. It had something inside, and people were dying." After 3 long weeks, the judge returned with his decision. He looked at Tolani. His voice was calm but firm. "You used living creatures and spiritual methods to charm customers. You cooked in dangerous conditions. You ignored signs of sickness. And you caused the death of at least 2 people. For this, you are found guilty of food poisoning, public endangerment. You are hereby sentenced to life imprisonment without parole." Gasp filled the courtroom. Tolani closed her eyes. Her body shook. She fell to her knees, crying, "Please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kill anybody." But the court was done with her. They carried her out in chains. The woman who once danced around a boiling pot with pride was now being taken away, crying like a child. Tolani was gone. The court case was over. The sentence was passed, and Onje Delight was permanently shut down. But the effects of her actions still echoed across Lagos. The video kept spreading. It reached schools, offices, churches, and even towns outside Lagos. People everywhere were shocked. Radio stations discussed it. Pastors preached about it. Social media overflowed with hashtags. Hashtag Tolani the cook. Hashtag food with lizard. Hashtag pray before you eat. Hashtag protect our stomachs. Some people who had eaten our food years before went to the hospitals just to be sure they were safe. Others gave testimonies in church. "I thank God I stopped eating that food before I fell sick. If not for God, I would die from that jollof rice." Joy became a quiet hero. People began to recognize her face from the trial. She received calls from health groups and NGOs. A foundation that supported young girls gave her a scholarship to study food safety and hospitality at a local institute. She was even invited to speak on a TV station. Her voice was calm as she said, "We must be careful. Not everything sweet is safe. Clean food saves lives." People clapped. Joy finally found peace, not just because Tolani was punished, but because she had chosen courage over silence. Mama Nkechi went back to selling okpa and zobo, but things were never the same. Some people avoided her. Some insulted her in the market. Some pitied her. She told a neighbor one day, "I didn't know she was putting lizard in the food. I only helped to serve it. If I could turn back time, I would have left that place." Regrets followed her everywhere, but slowly she began to rebuild. Muri started a small delivery business called Safe Basket Delivery. He promised customers that his delivery service would only work with clean, trusted restaurants. People loved it. He kept in touch with Joy and became one of her closest friends. Together, they told their story again and again, warning others, helping others, and never forgetting what they saw. Years passed. The name Tolani slowly faded from news headlines and public gossip, but her story remained. It became something bigger than a memory. It became a warning, told in schools, shown in training classes, mentioned in sermons and safety workshops. Her trial became a case study in food safety lectures. In one college in Ikeja, a lecturer said, "Let me tell you the story of a woman whose restaurant was full, but her conscience was empty." Till today, people still remembered what happened. And when someone hears of a restaurant that is too good to be true, they say, "Check well, oh, you never know if they are putting lizard in the stew." Some say it as a joke, but the wise ones say it with warning, because not all food is just food. Some carry secrets, and some, like Tolani's, carry a curse. Final words: be careful what you eat. Be careful what you do for money, because the stomach may forget the taste, but the soul remembers the truth.